Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson. We are located on the historical lands of the Eastern Cherokee and Southern Iroquois. My name is Karl, and I'm the worship associate this morning. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life journey, you are welcome here. Whomever you love, wherever you were born, whatever language you speak, you are welcome here. Whatever your skin color, whatever your class, background, whatever your range of abilities, you are welcome here. We are so glad that you chose our fellowship as your place of worship this morning. Whatever your thoughts, whatever your desires, whatever your politics, whatever your theology. We come together for worship in order to slow down and listen for the callings of our hearts, our spirits. We come together for worship so that we can remind ourselves of our highest aspirations and continue to transform ourselves into our best selves. If you're joining us for the first time this morning, welcome. After the service, we gather for coffee and social connection in the social room. Please join us. Not today.
Yes. We got it today. We got it today.
Oh, we do? Okay, thanks. There's always an issue with chronology. If you're interested in getting our weekly newsletter so you can get connected to our community, our weekly sharings of joys and concerns, and our collective efforts to support local social justice work, please reach out to the office by email or our website. And welcome to our visitors. I want to extend a special welcome to our visitors. If you would like, I invite you to stand as you are willing and able to introduce yourself. Do we have any visitors who would like to introduce themselves? Finally, I extend a special welcome to our online viewers. So most of the announcements are on the back of the order of service, but I have a few to offer here from the pulpit. The social justice survey is available just outside the sanctuary door. Please take a moment to fill it out. Skip the next one, which says there will be no hospitality, as there will be hospitality. And then finally, I would like to announce the tally of the votes on the amendments to the proposed Article 2, and then on the Article 2 itself. So on Amendment 1, which was an amendment on reason, search for truth and meaning with evidence and science, there were 26 yes votes, 15 no votes, and 3 abstentions. On Amendment 2, that declared every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity, and then a list of actions, it was 19 yes, 22 no, 3 abstain. Amendment 3, which was also equity, the right of every person to flourish with inherent dignity, but no list of actions, was 24 yes, 17 no, and 3 abstain. Amendment 4, which talked about peace, that we dedicate ourselves to resolve conflict in a peaceful way, was 24 yes, 14 no, and 4 abstain. And then finally, on the total proposed revisions for Article 2, the vote was 15 yes, 19 no, with 10 abstentions.
Could you repeat the first one, please?
The Amendment 1?
Yes, reason.
Okay, Amendment 1 was 26 yes, 15 no, with 3 abstentions.
Thank you.
I would like to also extend a warm welcome to everyone here and viewing at home or in the social hall this morning. I'm the Reverend Holly Brown. I am the settled minister here at the UU Fellowship of Clemson. And I offer these opening words for us this morning. Let's be the welcome that we crave, open hearts, arms outstretched. Let's embody radical welcome, unquestioning love. Let's be the welcome that we crave, deeply hearing voices and hearts. Let us be the welcome we crave, enriching, understanding. Let us embody the community that we crave. Come, let us worship together. And in the spirit of that worship, you are invited to rise in body, mind, or spirit, wherever you are, to join in singing number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, which will be on the slides or in your gray hymnal, and we're going to sing it through twice.
Talia, would you like to light the chalice for us? Thank you. Please join me in reading our shared affirmation. Yeah. In the spirit of love, with justice as our guide, this is our chosen covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth with freedom, and to care for one another.
Our story this morning for our Time for All Ages comes to us from the Reverend Michelle George Yates, and it's a story about a young boy who learns to find the story that no one else sees. Alex loved pictures. He would cut pictures he liked out of magazines to make collages and hang them on his bedroom wall. Alex loved pictures of important people, important places, and important things. He loved how he could see it like he was right there, even though the place in the picture was far away or long ago. So it was no surprise that for his birthday, Alex asked for a camera to take his own pictures, since his parents wouldn't always let him use their phones for this purpose. Once the camera was ready to go, Alex started taking pictures of everything. A few months later, there was a photography art show at Alex's church, and a few local photographers were going to be there showing their work. Knowing how much he loved to take pictures, the church committee that was arranging the show invited Alex to share a few of his pictures. Alex struggled to find just the right pictures to enter in the show. Nothing seemed good enough or important enough. He wanted his pictures to be of something important. He went around town and he took pictures of the most important things he could think of: the library, the town hall, the post office, the school, and he entered those pictures in the show. The opening day of the photography show, Alex marveled at the different things the other photographers chose to take pictures of: animals, buildings, cemeteries, people. Alex saw pictures that made him laugh, pictures that made him look closer, and some pictures that made him feel sad. A lady from church introduced him to one of the photographers named Rand. "Tell me about your pictures, Alex," Rand asked. "I wanted to take pictures of something important. These are the most important places in town, but they aren't as good as the others." "They are some of the most important places in town for people to go," Rand said. "I'll tell you a secret my mom told me about taking pictures. You aren't just looking for something other people say is important. You are looking for the meaning of why it is important. You are looking to find a story that no one else sees." "There's no hidden story at the library," said Alex. "You'd be surprised what you see once you start looking," Rand said. So that week, Alex went back to the library, and peeking through the shelves, he saw a kid reading to a smaller kid. That made him smile. He took the picture. He went back to the town hall and saw there the custodian placing a sign to warn people that the floor was wet. "I want to make sure no one gets hurt." Alex could tell he really cared. He took a picture of the custodian whistling while he worked. At the post office, he was amazed by all the post office boxes. Thinking of all the people who owned all those boxes made him think there must be a lot of stories in there. He took a picture. On his way into school, he noticed in the front yard where he and his friends usually played, in the fresh morning snow, there were rabbit tracks all over. He laughed, thinking of the rabbits playing there just like he and his friends did. So he took a picture. The next Sunday, he asked to put up his new pictures in the photography show. Rand was there and helped him put up the new pictures next to the old ones. "This way," he said, "people will see the story of what you discovered, too." People noticed Alex's new pictures. They came over to look and talk about what they saw going on. Alex got lots of compliments on his work. "You're getting a great eye there," Rand said. "It felt good to look for and find those stories and to share them. I'm starting to see stories everywhere I look," Alex said. "You wanted your pictures to be important," Rand answered. "With that as your lens, all of your pictures will be of something important."
Thank you, Karen. So I've noticed as we're sitting here that our chalice is producing a lot of smoke with the wick being a little bit longer today. And so I'm going to reverse the process and light the little one and put out the big chalice, and we're going to pretend that the little one is our chalice today just so that we don't smoke ourselves out.
This is the time we set aside for the offering in order to give toward the financial vitality of this community. Also, 25% of the undesignated collection each week goes to an organization in the community that we partner with. For the month of May, we are partnering with the Clemson Child Development Center. You may also give by going to the UUFC website and using the donate button. There you will see options for paying your pledge and donating toward the organizations that we partner with. Thank you for your generosity.
Now we enter a time of sharing our joys and concerns. This is a sacred sharing, reminding us of our connections to one another and to remind us that we are not alone. I've asked Karl to place a stone in this vessel, which represents this community, as I share each one of the joys and concerns. Have a joy from Holly Ulbrich that is that birthdays? Two daughters have birthdays this week, the oldest and youngest daughters. The older one is excited to turn 60 to be in a less competitive age range for running races. All right. Yes. All right. And then, let's see. I have a note from Modi that to please celebrate us as we embark on our first family trip to Europe in late May. Yay! Yes, it's wonderful. And then the other part of it is I'll be stuck overseas with my two strong-willed, super energetic children. Oh no, please send your thoughts and prayers. Yes. 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 Joy and a concern. And then have kind of an announcement / joy that Dave and Wei were able to pitch in with coffee and set up for social time, but we need others to help pitch in with help cleaning up afterwards. And we place one final stone in the shared vessel, representing all of those joys and concerns that remain quiet and tender upon our hearts. Thank you, Karl. And now we have our opportunity to sing their children on their way to RE to join Alan to hear about play this morning with our song, Go Now in Peace. So today our meditation reflects on our opening hymn, but also closes with the delight of having Wei and Dave sing a duet for us this morning. So I invite you into a spirit of meditation for both of these elements. The Persian poet Ramy challenges us to come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. And we come with rich heritages of liturgy and pomp. We come with burning legacies of angry gods and threats of hellfire. We come just as we are. We come with exuberant and joyful hearts, eager to witness to others. We come bereft of goodness of life, wondering, hesitant. We come just as we are. We come in the bloom of youth, ready to explore new truths. We come ready to sit apart from our children and be nourished for an hour. We come with gray in our hair and experiences to share. Come just as we are. We come to a place we never knew was home before. We come to the place that has been home throughout our lives. We come just as we are to join our siblings as members of one family in this beloved home, our hands and hearts outstretched. Come, yet again, come.
Check. Sound good? Yeah. Okay.
Deep peace of the running waves to you.
Deep peace of the flowing air to you.
Deep peace of the quiet earth to you.
Deep peace of the shining stars to you.
Deep peace of the early spring to you.
Deep peace of the budding flower to you.
Deep peace of the warming sun to you.
Deep peace of the life to come to you.
Deep peace of the autumn rain.
Deep peace of the harvest grain.
Deep peace of the winter night.
Deep peace of the fading light.
Deep peace when my life is done. Deep peace. Deep. Deep. Deep
Since the flame is smaller now, I will try to burn more brightly. When asked if I wished to reflect on the pluralism and the holy, I was filled with doubt. I went to bed Tuesday evening, depressed and perturbed, that I might not be able to unite these two words, pluralism and the holy. And then I awoke Wednesday morning and discovered that my entire reflection had been written while I slept. It was created in a dream, and if a revelation, I know not from where it came. I wish to share this experience with you because I never cease to marvel at all existence, the Big Bang, black holes, the living world, and the human brain. Pluralism simply means many as opposed to one, and holy entails separation and judgment. In my kayaking community, there's a pluralism of those who kayak for speed, for distance, for exercise, to enjoy nature, and socially for the shared experience. When we meet as a group, our individual preferences are restrained, and the abilities and inclinations that encompasses everyone defaults to the paddling style of the social paddlers. Those who paddle too fast or too far from the group are frowned upon. Consequently, most of the time, most of us paddle solo and alone in order to maximize our joy and well-being and to minimize the suffering of restraint. The story illustrates that pluralism is tolerant and forgiving when the multiple groups fly solo and rarely interact with one another. But when brought together in a common endeavor, pluralism requires restraint and the imposition of new normative values. Pluralism is thus paradoxically both inclusive and exclusive. While the revisions of Article 2 seek to expand the plurality of inclusion and express aspirational ideals, the words and language are at times politically loaded and selectively slanted toward groups. While love calls us to sacrifice on behalf of others, that sacrifice can be a source of joy or devolve into resentment. For there are elements of reciprocity and return on investment in the pluralism of the various types of human love. Much of human love is a two-way street where lover and beloved both give and receive from the other according to their gifts, talents, and abilities. Like William Blake, I rebel when I see in the garden of love priests in black gowns walking their rounds and binding with briars my joys and desires. Agape, or self-sacrificial love, is viewed as an expression of the holy, which separates the attributes of God and man and of the sacred and the profane. As I listened to the service on Buddhism last Sunday, I realized that I try to practice the virtues of tolerance, compassion, and loving kindness toward the world, and of truth and honesty within myself. But I have no desire to purify myself. As a Faustian man who would gladly sell his soul for all the knowledge that this world has to offer, my holy trinity is experimentation, exploration, and discovery. I have often said, I love this world that is, both kind and cruel, more than I could ever love any image of what some might think it should or ought to be. I feel a kindred spirit with a chorus in the medieval morality plays who sang, "Mankind is greater than the angels which art in heaven, for he has the capacity to sin. Praise be to God, from whom all blessings flow." And of Thomas Hobbes, who wrote, "The secret thoughts of man run over all things, holy, profane, clean, obscene, grave, and light, without shame or blame." It is not that I seek to disavow the holy, but rather that I seek a wholeness that encompasses both the sacred and the profane. I want to revel in my passions and desires, even as I try to minimize the harm they may do to the world around me. Theologically, I would argue that in sinning, one is open to redemption, and that in the brokenness arising from throwing oneself upon the rocks of reality and human nature, one creates the opportunity for wholeness. In the Crazy Jane poem, Yeats writes, "Nothing can be soul or whole that has not been rent." For me, the affirmative promise of pluralism lies in the tension between I and thou, and the gift of the holy is its marriage to the profane. It is the journey that I love without fear of a destination. It is the pluralism and holiness in the beauty and grace of a hawk as it kills a squirrel, the joy and sorrow of life sustained and life denied. In the words of William Blake, "For everything that lives is holy, life delights in life." And of Abraham Heschel, "Just to be is a blessing, just to live is holy." May you live long and prosper.
When I was a boy, each week, on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest, that he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of air. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Testament, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
So I want to lift up just a couple of things before I dive deeply into my sermon. Today has several things. This weekend has several things. First, it's the final week in May, which also intersects with Memorial Day, to remember those lost in military service, and also as a holiday weekend, which it's often thought of, not just connected to Memorial Day, but as the beginning of summer, so to speak. And this is a marker for summer kind of beginning in UU congregations. And there's kind of a history of some congregations having a little bit different structure throughout the summer. Whether it's the choir takes a break, RE isn't happening, many of us are traveling, sometimes the seats are a little bit more sparse. And kind of starting the programic church year from September through May, if you will. So later this summer, in the end of June and July, you'll get to hear from some of our lay leaders and some special services that'll be taking place. But also, this is the final Sunday of the theme of pluralism. And so if you've attended some of the other services this month, at the beginning of the month, we talked about some of our Unitarian and Universalist ancestors. Then we talked about the merger. And today we're talking about how pluralism influences our understanding of the holy, of the religious. And as you heard earlier, Karl lifted up the paradoxes that can exist between this idea of pluralism and the holy. And I have to say that my intention was a little bit on that so that we think about it in a different way. But his writing reminded me, what he shared reminded me of a quote that I thought about using as a longer reading today, but decided to just share this quote with you from Fred Small, that many Unitarian Universalists suffer from a chronic identity crisis. People ask us, what do Unitarian Universalists believe? And we freeze. We don't know what to say because Unitarian Universalists believe so many things. And we're priests of paradox, apostles of ambiguity. And so Unitarian Universalist associations produced 7 principles and 6 sources and countless pamphlets and little wallet cards to remind us of what we kind of, sort of believe. We are exhorted to compose elevator speeches, summations of Unitarian Universalism so pithy that they might be recited on an elevator in the fleeting passage between floors. End quote. Have any of you ever tried to come up with a good elevator pitch? Have you ever used it? A couple of you, okay. So early on in my journey of Unitarian Universalism, when someone asked me this, I was one of those that froze up and was like, oh, what do I say? And I wanted it to be perfect. Perfectionism can get in the way of the good sometimes, in way of the good enough to explain what I believe and how that relates in Unitarian Universalism. Now, I could look at the 7 principles and say we have 7 principles that kind of help influence our understanding of how we are together and in the world, but that perfectionism, I wanted to get it right. I wanted to include language from the 7 principles, and I had trouble remembering them. I still have trouble getting them in the right order. The fun of dyslexia sometimes. But when it came time to take a class called Intro to Theology while I was in seminary, studying to become a minister, we were tasked with writing our credo, of saying what we believe. And I was attending a mostly Christian seminary with a few UUs sprinkled throughout, but no other UUs in my class. I struggled with what to write and felt some jealousy of some of my seminary colleagues that had that book of discipline they could flip open and say, this is what I believe, because I didn't have one of those. Because our religion, our faith tradition is so pluralist. There are so many options for sacred text. There are so many options for how we understand the holy. The song that you heard, Holy Now, from Peter Meyer, is a sacred text. It is a representation of how we understand the holy in the world around us. And I realized something that I felt like I was lacking. So, as you may know by now, I was raised United Methodist. And in that tradition, I participated in something called confirmation class. And it didn't teach me what I believe, but what I was supposed to believe and confirm and accept, which I struggled with growing up. And, that ultimately led me to Unitarian Universalism. But in recent years, of course, as I went through seminary and I looked at all the different curriculums and things that we offer, I found, and maybe some of you have participated in this, have any of you participated in or know about the coming of age curriculum? Sometimes there's mentors and people that help our children and youth as they are making that change over into that youth and young adult understanding of the world, and it takes place over several months and engages with what the youth believe, not just what we say in one place or another, not just reciting our 7 principles and 6 sources, but the goal of writing their own credo. Man, if I'd had a chance to do that when I was a teenager, that intro to theology class would have been a whole lot easier. But I might not believe the same thing that I did as a teenager today. Man, what I understood as my faith before I went to seminary, during seminary, and since then has changed a number of times. And the beauty of us being a living tradition is that it can change a bunch more times if it needs to. Anybody paid attention to the title on our gray hymnal? It's singing the living tradition, representing that understanding of how we continue to grow and learn throughout our faith journey. And while I didn't have a book of discipline during seminary to say exactly what I should believe, I found it liberating to be able to define what I believe rather than just what I was told I should believe. And I think that is the beauty of our pluralism. And so if you have a hymnal near you, either the gray one or the teal one, and for those at home, I'm going to read it aloud, so don't worry, you won't miss out. But in the first few pages, past the index, past the title page, you will see written in the hymnal our kind of preamble, our principles and sources, and then this little paragraph at the end that we don't always remember or focus on. And it says, "Grateful for our religious pluralism, which enriches and ennobles our faith as we are inspired to deepen our understanding and expand our vision as free congregations, we enter into this covenant, promising one another our trust, our mutual trust," important word there, mutual trust and support. At the heart of this statement, we're invited to deepen our understanding and expand our vision. It is not something set in stone forever. It is something that we support one another in doing our journey of growth, whatever that looks like along the way. But it's done not just with trust, but mutual trust. Earlier, you heard the song by Peter Mayer, "Holy Now." And as I was thinking about this topic of pluralism, it was going around in my head. I thought about using it, and then I found out we were going to have a duet today, and I was like, well, maybe not. And then ultimately decided that we could have both of those pieces of music today, and it was beautiful to have them both. The beauty of what he lifts up and the imagery, both in the video and in his lyrics, of going to church, listening to the words, and being sad that miracles didn't happen today, but then realizing that they do. There are miracles around us every moment of every day. And that fits so well with who we are as Unitarian Universalist, with this religious pluralism, to see that everything is holy now. Whether we believe in God or the holy or don't feel comfortable with either of those words, there is also sources that we lift up of experience, the words and deeds of prophetic people, the values of science and reason, as well as these many religious traditions. All of these are contained in our way of knowing. When we consider the broader implications of pluralism beyond religious pluralism, there are many ways of being in the world. We hold many different identities, whether it is our approaches to kayaking or making connections with others, how we recognize value in the experience, opportunity to learn new things. So this past week, I had the opportunity, the joy of being with our children in their religious education class. And we were talking about some big ideas, including this idea of pluralism as the end of this month's theme. And so one of the things with these big ideas is we had some images to kind of think about. And so different ways of being in relationship and love with one another, different gender folks in hearts above their heads here, and a neurodiversity umbrella with our different ways of understanding the world, whether you have ADHD or autism or learning disabilities. And then our religious pluralism, which we've talked about a lot already today. And then our diversity of identities. And somehow, I am missing one of the most important ones that I was going to refer to of these little slips of paper, because it had an image with kind of a head on it with different abilities, a little like handicap placard looking sign and an ear and an eye representing our different ways of needs in the world. And in that, one of the kids raises her hand and pipes up and says, "I know some sign language," which was delightful because I've been learning sign language over this last year or so. And I had the opportunity for us to talk about what different letters are in the ASL, or which American Sign Language, and how to sign my name and spelling their names out. And so while this wasn't exactly on topic, it was, because if we think about how we try to make our spaces as accessible as possible, we have the hearing devices that some folks wear to be able to better hear. We make sure that we use mics and try to get them adjusted where as many people as possible can hear as well as possible, including our beloveds online, tuning in from home or from our social hall. And we've rearranged the chairs with, obviously we have some mixed feelings or getting used to it and things like that. But this was an active effort to try to make the space a little bit more accessible for more people. And so that is a representation of pluralism as well. And as I come to a close, I want to lift up one last thing about our religious pluralism. There is a Universalist theologian, Forrest Church, and while I don't necessarily agree with things he did in his personal life of misconduct as a minister, inappropriate relationships, which I want to name because that can be something that reacts to us if we know about his history. But he had this idea, the cathedral with many windows, and understanding of our world view through those many different windows, many different religious traditions. But if we think about it and look out these windows here in this space, in the clear story or around us, while we see different things, it is the same sunlight that is shining into this space. And so the idea that there is many windows to view the world through, but one light. And so our religious pluralism and our pluralism with diversity of being and our ways of engaging with the world enliven and enrich us. And my hope is that you will continue on this journey with me, with us, as we continue to understand the holy in all of its many forms. Seeing beyond the paradox means whether as individuals in our exploration or as a community. May we continue to find meaning. May we continue to carry the beauty that is wrought in community with us through this pluralism so that we can better express who we are and maybe have something to say in those elevator speeches that will come a little bit easier. May it be so. May we make it so, and blessed be. You are now invited to rise in body or spirit wherever you are to join in singing number 331, Life is the Greatest Gift of All. Thank you, and thank you for going with a song that we're maybe not as familiar with. Y'all did a really good job, and thanks for those in the choir helping make sure we knew where we were, whether you knew you were doing that or not. And so I offer these as our closing words by Ibrahim to see the other side, to defend another people, not despite your tradition, but because of it, is the heart of pluralism. Go in peace and return in love.